Hello everyone, in this quick video I will show you how I solved the issue with this machine being stuck with decryption, FileVault decryption. The computer was left standing there like decrypting itself. It went to sleep, and after waking it up from sleep it showed up as volume decrypted, but the system was basically unresponsive. I couldn't open any folder, so I waited a little bit, and then as the dialog for the FileVault showed decryption complete, like FileVault was not active anymore, and that was the only dialog that was left open on the desktop, on the screen, and the volume was basically empty. When I started the decryption, I thought it was finished. I rebooted and I was welcomed with a boot loop, and the first alarming sign was that the login screen was asking me for the password before the system load, so which means that encryption was still on somehow. And when I booted to the recovery disk, I run disk util apfs list. It shows as FileVault here. Where is that? 99% post locked. Okay, so that was the situation. The disk was apparently 99% unlocked, but somehow it didn't went through all of it, and I was in this middle ground, and the system was boot looping. I tried to boot from an external SSD with a macOS on it, and as soon as I typed the password for the drive, as the FileVault dialog came out on the desktop of the external drive, the system would freeze. So I tried this as a solution from the web. That was to run apfsd from the terminal. I left it open for a couple of minutes, actually like 15 minutes, 20 minutes. Then the system, like the recovery would get the screen black, like some kind of power saving function is also baked into the recovery of macOS, of this MacBook Air. And as soon as I tried to wake it up, it was show with exclamation fault. And basically the apfsd command doesn't seem to be able to finish the decryption somehow. I try also to keep the machine in front of me and move the mouse, move the trackpad to keep it awake. I did that for a couple of hours tonight, and I was just tired, so I tried it. I was looking for another solution, and what seems to be working is you type this command to unlock the locked drive, and this actually turns out fine. Like this was actually working, so it was actually unlocked. Then I attached an external drive, and I moved to the I moved it to the, what is that? Let me go there. Okay, I am now at the root of the recovery, which means that this is basically the recovery environment. I moved to the volumes. Sorry guys. And here I can see Macintosh HD data, which is where the user data are located. And I can actually do cd Macintosh HD users, and I can see the username here. So I move there, and then the name of the backup drive is called backup1 currently. So I'm going to just copy the user folder to the backup drive like this, and this is gonna start copying all the files from the internal drive SSD to the external drive on the root folder, I guess, but that doesn't really matter. They were only like 25 to 30 gigabyte, so that shouldn't take long. The volume is called backup1 because while filming this video, I actually touched the drive and it disconnected itself. So I already started this process before. Here you're gonna see some personal emails of the user, but whatever, I don't think it's important. And yeah, it's basically copying the files. There are some files that are included in some folders that are not readable for some reason, but there are like application support from random applications. There might be some bytes that are actually corrupted. I hope this copy operation will just ignore them, as this is doing it now. I guess we're gonna recover like 99% of the data, maybe even 100%. And yeah, I guess that is all for the video. I hope it's useful for you if you find yourself in the same situation. Yeah, the issue comes from, like, I'm not used to real MacBooks, real Macs. I use Hackintosh in my daily use, and I am used to computers not going to sleep during important tasks. I mean, I'm used to computer not going to sleep at all, because sleep on Macintosh is not that great. So I just disable it on every like computer I make, which is not the best for the environment, but it's still better than ending up in this kind of situation where the system just goes to sleep, even if it's connected to the power, so to the main battery, to the main power source, and it's doing a very important task of decrypting itself. That was incredibly stupid, and it happened to me actually before. I had the situation before, I just forgot about it, and I'm back here. Last time this happened, I was able to go through the recovery by unlocking the volume and letting it finish the actual unlock, but this time I was not that lucky. And so, yeah, I mean, that's not, I guess, a lesson learned. It's a lesson I would probably have to relearn another time. Maybe, I hope not, but I already did that before. And yeah, it's terribly stupid for the system not to be aware that you don't have to sleep during unlocking a process. And another thing is that in a more general sense is that I hate the fact that Apple brings unwilling user, because every time I ask a person, did you actually know that you have locked your drive and you're losing performance out of that, because this machine doesn't have a T2 chip, so it doesn't have a dedicated processor for unlocking itself, unlocking the data. So every read and write operation has to go through additional CPU cycles just to unlock the encryption. And that, with such a slow old machine, it's killing performance. The boot time was awful on this machine, even though it was completely empty, because I actually deleted everything from it because I was in the process of updating it to a newer OS. So I got rid of every applications, every temporary data caches and everything. But yeah, that shouldn't happen. The regular user don't need FileVault, just as much as normal people don't need that triple super hardened lock for a normal house that no one's going to be interested in stealing anything from, because every additional locking is an additional point of possible failure that could keep you away from your data. And I guess that is all for the video. Ciao.